Why is it so important to get our fans' email addresses? Well, the reason we want to get our fans or prospective fans' email address before doing anything else, before sending them to our YouTube channel or sending them to our Spotify to stream our music or sending them to download our album or whatever, we want to get their email address first because that way we don't lose the lead. We have their information and we can follow up with them anytime we want. So let's just say, for example, we are running an ad online and we were to send that person, when they click our ad, to our Spotify playlist so that they can listen to our music. Well, okay, that might be great. So they're interested enough to click the ad, then they go listen to the music and they might enjoy the music. They might listen to a couple songs, but then they go on about their life and they completely forget about you. Okay, so this is something we want to avoid. So if we were to get their email address first, and then send them on to Spotify, well, now we can follow up with them again next week and we can remind them that we exist. We can send them an email and we can send them back to our Spotify channel for another song that we may have just released or another track that they may not have heard yet. Once you get their email address, you can follow up with them anytime you want. And you're going to have a higher response rate with email than you will with things like Facebook and Twitter, because quite frankly, a lot of people just aren't going to see your posts when you post on Facebook. You might be doing a great job of sending people to your Facebook and getting them to like your Facebook page, but it's such a small percentage of those people that will ever actually see any of your posts. And honestly, it seems like Facebook is actually getting worse and worse about this, where you might have several thousand followers, but only a small percentage of maybe like 10 or 15% ever see your posts when you post them. And that's because a lot of people just aren't on Facebook all the time. And if they aren't on Facebook for a couple of days, your post is going to be old news by the time they show up and they are going through their news feed. They're never going to see it. And most of the people that like your page probably like a lot of other pages, and they're probably interacting with their friends and family when they're on Facebook. So Facebook's algorithm is going to decide that, unfortunately, even though they like your page, it's just not a top priority for these people, and they're not likely to see most of your posts. Same thing for Twitter. And really, you just don't want all of your eggs to be in one basket of any third-party service like Facebook or Twitter. They're constantly revamping their algorithms to give their users the best experience they think that the users want. And that doesn't always mean your post getting to the top of that user's newsfeed. So with email, you have a lot more control. When you email somebody, people check their email all the time. I mean, think about how often you check your email. You at least see most of the emails that come in. It's rare that an email comes to you and you don't even at least see the subject, right? You might not open it, but at least you see that it's there. So that's one of the big benefits about getting your fans' emails is when you email them, at least they know that you emailed them. At least they see the email, right? So if you write a compelling subject line, you can get them to open it and you can get them to click through and you can get that traffic that you want. It's really important to get the email. You're going to have a higher response rate. You have more control over that. You have that email forever. And if for some reason Facebook's algorithm changes or Twitter's algorithm changes and your posts really aren't showing up in people's news feeds as much, or if one of those sites were to go the way of MySpace and just completely not exist for the most part, at least you have the fan's email, because that fan is going to continue to check their email no matter what. They might move on and get a different email address and no longer check it, and that happens sometimes. But for the most part, if you have the email, you're going to be able to reach your fans, or you're at least going to have a better chance of reaching them than with pretty much any third-party platform like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or whatever. The cool thing about having the email is then you can follow up with your fans next week and remind them, hey, you know what? I've got this cool Facebook page. You should go like it. Next week, tell them about your Twitter page. Then tell them about your YouTube channel. So once you have your email, you can then mail your fans and tell them about the other places where you are in social media and have them follow you there, or go to your Spotify and stream your music, or go download your album. You can send them to iTunes. And then when you have a new album, or you're going on tour, or you have new merch for sale, all your fans will know about it because you can email all of them and let them know. So that's why it's so important to get the email first. In the next video, I'm going to break down the elements of a direct response campaign and how collecting your fans' email fits into all of that. So I'll see you in the next video.